students. My name is BHATIA, and I'm an academic counselor in IGNOU Regional Center, Noida, and I'm going to start uh, BHIC 131 as this is the first year as this is the first year program of IGNOU Study Center. And okay, now we are going to start Unit 1 and 2. We will complete uh, we will complete this book in 7 or 8 lectures maximum. And so let's start Unit 1 and 2. So, as you know about the sources, there are two types of sources as literary sources and archaeological sources. Sources are of two types, literary sources, archaeological sources. First of all, I want to tell you one thing. The sources are an important part of writing history. If you are going to start reading history and writing history, then you will have to know about the importance of sources. Sources are important part of writing history. It is on the basis of sources that we reconstruct our past. If we are going to reconstruct the past, okay, we will connect our past with our present also. If we are going to connect the parts of history, requires a historian to study and interpret them in detail. Two types of sources, literary and archaeological. Okay, as you know about literary. Literary means literature. Literature means connected to the study. Just like we are studying Ramayana, we are studying Bhagavad Gita, we are studying Mahabharata. Okay, and the maximum text we have studied in our life, just like this, these are known as literary sources. Under literary sources can be included the Vedic, Buddhist, Jain literature, epics, Puranas, Sangam literature, biographies, poetry, and drama. Under the broad head of archaeology, we may consider epigraphic, numismatic, and archaeological remains that are recovered as the result of archaeological exploration and excavation. As you know about the literary sources means we have studied a lot of about the Puranas. We have studied a lot of about. Have you seen the inscription of Ashoka in your history? If you have studied your history in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, okay, they have shown about the inscription of Ashoka. Ashoka has written a lot of inscription. Inscriptions have helped us about to know about Maurya period, Mauryan Empire. Mauryan Empire was a big empire. You all know about the Maurya dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka. Okay, these all etc. In Indian history, there is a primacy accorded to the written records. Archaeological artifacts in the form of temple remains, coins, house remains, post holes, pottery, and soil also constitute an important category of evidence. For all the three periods of Indian history, you all know about the three periods of history: ancient, medieval, and modern. Okay, ancient till earlier time to 6th, 7th century, and the medieval from 8th to 18th 8 to 18th century, and modern period is from modern period you all know as from 19th century till now. This is known as modern period also. The sources can be also divided into primary and secondary. Primary sources are those sources which we see as primary. Primary means palm leaves, pillars, rocks, copper plates, pots, shirts, etc. These are known as primary sources. These are used by these are used by historians to write articles, to write books, or any form of written history, which are used by the subsequent researchers and are hence called the secondary resources. And what about the written primary sources? The written primary sources are of two kinds: manuscript sources or inscriptions, published material. Published material, you know about the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Vedas. There are four types of Vedas we were studying. Okay, another literary sources. Now, literary sources. Uh, some questions have to be kept in mind while studying the ancient Indian text. What type of questions are those? For example, why were they composed and for whom? What were their social and cultural context? Okay, which period we are studying about? What is the connection of that period according to the present? A text may represent an ideal and may not be an accurate description of what was happening at that time because we don't know, we were not present over that time. So how we know about that this happened at that time? There are some crucial aspects which need to be taken care of when one is studying the ancient Indian text for historical information. Okay, and now all of these things are just like Ramayana, Mahabharata. They are published. They are manuscripts also, and we come to know from the writings of Huinsang, Faxian. You know about the Huinsang and the Faxian, and in 5th century Huinsang, which we can say Zhuangzhang also in these times. Huinsang, Chinese pilgrim, they came to India to search about the Gautam Buddha because the Gautam Buddha was the guru of the Chinese people. Okay, that's why they came here in India to search about Gautam Buddha. And in 7th century, Faxian came to India to search about Gautam Buddha. He had gone to so many places where the Buddha belongs to, birthplace and death place and the sermon places where they had given sermon, their sermon also. Okay, now it's our next point is Vedic literature. Vedic literature, you all know about Vedas. Okay, Vedas. There are four type of Vedas: Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Athar Veda, and Yajur Veda. First of all, what is Veda? Veda is derived from the Sanskrit root with vid, which means to know. Veda means knowledge, knowledge about the religion. Do you know our past period was connected with the religion because our ancestors were very religious people at that time because the education was connected to Sanskrit also and about religion. Vedas. First, first is Samaveda. Samaveda means Samveda, Rigveda. Rigveda was the collection of songs. Rigveda was a collection of praise. Collection of consists of 1028 hymns, consisting 10 books. Books 2 to 7 are of an earlier date, and books 1, 8, 9, and 10 are later. Rigveda was the very very ancient text which we have known about. Next is Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda, it encompasses a range of topics over its 20 books, of which the first seven primarily deal with incantations, poems, spells, charms to be spoken by the one seeking some benefit or more often by the one who would pronounce them on their behalf of all sorts of healings of cure various illnesses, various injuries, ailments. Okay, we have we came to know about the injuries to cure about the injuries from these Atharva Veda Samhita. Okay, next is Samaveda, Samhita. Samaveda, the knowledge of songs, the knowledge of melodies. Okay, just like tantras, mantras, we chanting a lot of tantra mantra. We have chanted a lot in our Sanskrit tradition. They were compiled in Samaveda, Samhita. Next and last one is Yajurveda. Yajurveda is the collection of uh, the knowledge of sacrificial formulas, worship rituals like Agnihotra. Agnihotra means welcoming the three primary seasons: spring, monsoon, autumn, by offering butter and milk to fire. Because in our home traditions, we used to do Ashwamedha Yajna and the Ashwamedha Yajna and Rajasuya Yajna and what about that other yajna? Mm, Satyanarayan Katha. We have used to do these type of offerings to our God. We offerings to the fire, just like by offering butter, by offering milk to the fire. Vajpaya and Rajasuya Yagya. On victory of king and his incarnation, respectively, by offering butter and surya and alcoholic drink to fire. These things were offered to the fire by the kings at that time. Next, we have studied about the Shukla Yajurveda. List of crops being important in those times, such as wheat, rice, barley, sesame, millets, shogun, and kidney beans, etc. It is the largest collection of primarily Upanishads, uh, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, and Isha Upanishad, Maitri Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and Shvetambara Upanishad, etc. They were known as the Upanishads. Okay, and said six Vedangas. Vedangas means limbs of Vedas were involved of for a proper understanding of the Veda, just like Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Channa, and Jyotish. These six parts were developed in incredible literature around it, which is in the sutra from percepts. This is very precise and exact form of expression in prose which was developed by ancient Indians. Parini, who has written Ashtadhyayi, a book of grammar in 8 chapters. And after that, you know about the Varna system. Varna system means at that time we consider about the Varnas. Varnas means Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. You know, the topmost part was of Brahmins, and second part of Kshatriya. Kshatriya means the rulers. Kshatriya means the fighters. Okay, and the third one was Vaishyas, and Vaishyas were connected to fight. No, not fight. Fight was the name of. It was the work of Kshatriyas. Fighting not, but Vaishyas were done about their stomach to fulfill their stomach to run about their family. And next was fourth one was Shudra. Shudra was the fourth one, as they are known as the feet and the subsistence of other three parts, upper three parts of the body. Next, we are know about the esoteric doctrine, secret doctrine, mystic. Mystic means hidden connection. Hidden connection means they connected with their other things, means hidden connection. Okay, next, Upanishads comprise some of the key philosophical aphorisms of Hinduism, such as Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, as I told you earlier. Aranya. Aranya are recognized as Karma Kand. Karma Kand means which we have do in our Vedic learning, which we have done about our Vedic learning, except knowledge production or spirituality, section of Vedic literature, and internalized philosophical doctrines. Next is Atiti Devo Bhava. Atiti Devo Bhava is a mantra representing the dynamics of guest host relationship in the Indian value system. Literally meaning the guest is God. As we are going to start these things in our Indian families also. Satyameva Jayate, variously translated as truth alone triumphs. Truth alone conquers. Truth stands invincible. The truth prevails. Means Satyamev Jayate. We are going to start. It is inscribed on the base of our national emblem, land capital of Ashoka. We also find it on the obverse of the Indian currency. Okay, now we are going to start. Now we are going to tell about the Rig Veda. Rig Veda. It is believed to have been Rig Veda composed between 1500 to 1000 BCE. This is the timing of Rig Veda. We have considered about Rig Veda. And The other Vedas are just like Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Brahmins, Aranyas, Upanishads. These were composed between 1000 to 500 BCE. These, these were the timings of Rig Veda and other Veda. Now we are going to start sutras which form part of post-Vedic literature. Post-Vedic literature means after Vedic timing, after Vedic learning, this is known as post-Vedic literature. These have been classified as Smriti. Smriti means memorized rather than heard. Shruti, text. The suggested meaning is that these were composed by humans, the great sage and the saints as such, do not enjoy the sanctity of Vedas, though they are considered authoritative in their own right. The sutra texts are manual or ritualism, 600 to 300 BCE. Next is Shushruta. Sushruta contains rulers for the performance of great sacrifices. Next is Griha Sutra, contains directions for simple ceremonies and sacrificial acts of daily life. Next is the Dharma Sutra and the Dharma Shastra. Dharma Sutra, these are the books of instructions on spiritual and secular law, the oldest law books. Dharma Sutras and Smritis are rules and regulations for general public, by which they came to know about the rules and the regulations about the general public. Next, post sutra texts are the Smriti text. Smriti text means which are Manu Smriti, Narada Smriti, and Yajnavalakya Smriti. These were composed between 200 BCE and 900 CE. Next, we are going to start because I'm earlier told you about the literary sources. We are studying literary sources. Literary sources means just like Kautilya Arthashastra. Arthashastra is a book written by Kautilya. It is an important law digest on economy and statecraft. The text is divided into 15 books, of which book second and third may be regarded as being an earlier date and seen to have been the works of different hands. These different books deal with different subject matter concerning polity, economy, society. It was put into final form in the beginning of Common Era. Okay, written by Arshad, written by Kautilya. Next is epics. Epics, as you all know, epics are Ramayana, Mahabharata, which we are studying nowadays also. Decomposed from 500 BCE to 500 CE, can also be used as a historical source. They are known as Itihasa. Vyasa's Mahabharata is older and possibly reflect the state of affair from 10th to 4th century BCE. The main narrative which relates to the Kauravas, Pandavas conflict may relate to later Vedic period. The description portion might be post-Vedic and didactic portions generally relate to the post-Mauryan and Gupta periods. It is generally held that there have been constant interpolation in these works. As we also have seen Mahabharata scenes, just like Arjun and Shri Krishna were with bow and arrow, they were fighting with Kauravas. The Ramayana of Valmiki. Valmiki has written Ramayana, appears to be more unified than the Mahabharata. Some of the sites mentioned in both the epics have been excavated. Ayodhya excavations have revealed settlements going back in North Black polished ware, NBPW period. Hastinapur, Kurukshetra, Panipat, Bagpat, Mathura, Tilapat, and Berat, etc., have been excavated these days. Puranas. Puranas are also a category of Hindu texts attributed to Veda Vyasa. They are dated to Gupta and post Gupta period. There are 18 Mahapuranas and numerous Up Mahapuranas. Their content indicates that These were heterogeneous encyclopedic works of various hands encompassing multifarious topics. For example, the range of topics covered by Agni Purana, 8th to 11th century include ritual, worships, cosmology, astrology, mythology, genealogy, law, politics, education system, iconography, etc. etc. The following five branches are considered to the form of subject matter of Puranas. Means Sarga, Pratisarga, Madavantra, Vamsa, and Vamshanacharita. These things were known as description of Devtas. Puranas contains useful information for reconstructing the history of ancient India. They throw light on the political history and genealogical of dynasties. And dynasties such as Haryanaka, Shungas, Nandas, Mauryas, Sagas, Kanvas, Andhras. These dynasties were known about with their history of ancient India, just like Ramayanas, Mahabharatas, Puranas. We should know about these. They are also important for providing geographical information on rivers, lakes, mountains, etc. Hence, they are crucial for reconstructing the historical geography of ancient India. Now we are going to start study Sangam literature. Earliest Tamil texts are found in corpus of Sangam literature. This is the work of poets and who composed short and long poems over a period of 3 to 4 centuries, patronized by chiefs and kings because the rulers were not at that time. At that time, there were chiefs and kings, we can see. They assembled in colleges which were called the Sangams, and the literature produced in these colleges was called Sangam literature. Poems, some 30,000 lines of poetry, are on themes of love, on themes of war. They sang with the poets. They were modeled on bardic songs. Bardic songs means long songs in the praise of kings, in the praise of knights. Biographies, poetries, and drama. Biographies, the historians used them to cull information on the times in which they were composed. The earliest Sanskrit poets and playwrights include Ashvaghosha, Bhasha, and Ashvaghosha authored Buddha Charita, Samudrananda. Bhasha was a dramatist and wrote Panchatantra and Duta Vakya, Bala Charita. The great Sanskrit writer, poet Kalidasa, Abhinav, Abhijan Shakuntala, Malvikagni Mitra. They provide important information, insight into the social and cultural life of the Guptas. The Malvikagni Mitra is based on events of the reign of Pushyamitra Shunga. They have seen a lot of scenes about the Pushyamitra Shunga and all that. Then there are ancient dramas on historical themes. Mention may be made of Vishakadatta, Budra Rakshas. Budra Rakshas was written by Vishakadatta. This drama is based on how Chanakya tries to win over Rakshasa. Rakshasa means a minister of Nandas. Nandas to Chandragupta Maurya's side. The narrative literature include Panchatantra and they are the collection of popular folk tales because nowadays so many children have read about the Panchatantra stories in their syllabus and also. Next, there are so many other literature things. We have studied about Vedas, Rig Veda, Samveda, Atharveda, and Yajurveda. We have studied about Puranas. We have studied about epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata. We have studied about ballad songs. Buddhist, now we are going to start Buddhist and Jaina literature. Buddhist and Jaina literature, just like in Buddhist literature, they were written in Pali. Pali was a language which the people can understand easily. With the Buddhist monks, it reached Sri Lanka, where it is living language. Ashokan edicts are also in Pali language, said to have been composed after the death of Buddha, the Pali text Tripitakas. Pali text Tripitakas. Tripitakas means three baskets. Three baskets tells us about the state of affairs in India at that time of Buddha and 16 Mahajanpada. There were very famous things that were 16 Mahajanpadas, and the Magda was the main and the most famous Mahajanpada in that period. Tripitakas is a common name given to Buddhist canonical literature and their commentaries in Pali. The Tripitakas survive in Pali, survive in Japanese, Chinese, and Tibetan versions. They consist of three books. Tripitakas consist of three books: Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Because Buddha's life was described in three baskets, just like birth story is one basket, and the preaching and the sermons and the religious stories in second basket, and other life in third one. The Sutta Pitaka contains the discourses of Buddha on various doctrines, issues in stories, poems, dialogues, poems. The Vinaya Pitaka is about 227 rules and regulations for monks, nuns, and sanghas. Sanghas were the place where monks lived at that time. It includes explanation about the founding of each rule by the Buddha. It contains information about his life, events, story of Buddhism in first century. It was written in 386 BCE. Last is Abhidhamma Pitaka. Abhidhamma Pitaka is known also as Higher Dhamma, contains matter related to Buddhist philosophy in accordance with the Theravada school and contain list summaries, questions, and answers. Theravadin school means the ancient school, the ancient thing which were followed by the Gautam Buddha. The Sutta Pitaka contains five Nikayas, of which the Khudak Nikaya is a collection of discourses. Theragatha, Therigatha, Jatakas, which are important sources for a history. The Jatakas contain stories, more than 550 in number, about the former births, the Buddha in the form of Dev, man, animal, fairy, spirit, mythological character. They are ascribed some historical importance as they are related to the previous births of Buddha. Many stories and motifs were borrowed from pre-Buddhist and non-Buddhist oral vernacular traditions. Next is Theragatha. Theragatha means the verses of the elder monks. Therigatha, verses of elder nuns. Collection of poems which were narrated by the early members of the Buddhist Sangha. Therigatha is the first surviving poetry in India, supposed to have been composed by women. It is important for not only Buddhism but also for gender studies. The Gathas of Therigatha strongly support the view that women are equal to men in terms of spiritual attainment. Next, Deepavansa and Mahavansa. Mahavansa, around 1st century BCE, it consists of dialogue between Indo-Greek king Menander and Buddhist monk Nangsena. And Deepavansa entail history of Buddhism from the time of Buddha's enlightenment, only enlightenment. Next is Jain literature. Jain literature constitutes another important category of texts which are in form of Prakrit called Ardham Gandhi. It contains information which helps us in reconstructing the history of different regions of ancient India. The literature of Digambaras is Jain soothsaying. while the Shwetambra's literature is in two dialects in Ardhamani. Mahavira's teachings of his disciples were first compiled in 14 Purvas in 4th century BCE. Tulbhadra convened a great council at Patliputra because there are four councils at that time. The great council at Patliputra and reconstruct the Gyan canon in 12 Angas. Okay, and later in 5th century CE, a council at Vallabhi. The existing texts were formalized and presented in a written form. They are Jainas text, Buddha's texts. Okay, the scriptures accepted by Shvetambara are 12 Angas, 12 Upangas, 10 Parikarnas, 6 Sheda Sutras, 2 Sutras, and 4 Mula Sutras. They are known as the Sutras. Archaeological sources. We are going to start archaeological sources. First of all, we are going to tell what is archaeological sources. Archaeology is a branch of knowledge that study material culture to understand the past. It has a close relation to the field of history. Sculptures, pottery, remains, bones, fragments, house remains, temple remnants, floral remains like chair graves, coins, seals, inscriptions, etc. They are known as archaeological sources. If we are going to start the to excavation work in some place, then they are known as archaeological sites, archaeological places, and archaeological materials which were found at that place. For example, the history of Indo-Greeks has been reconstructed solely in the basis of the coins. Okay, and the history of Mauryas, history of Kushanas were connected with the basis of coins. The utilization of archaeological sources in reconstructing India's past is only about centuries old. It was held till the 1920s that the Indian civilization was considered to have begun from 6th century BC, but the excavations at Mohenjo-daro, at Harappa, antiquity of Indian civilization has gone back to about 5000 BCE. The finds of prehistoric artifacts have shown that human activities had started there as early as 2 million years ago. Similarly, it was believed that the most of Indian subcontinent came to be populated at that time. We have seen archaeological sources. A varied range of archaeological finds are very useful for reconstructing Indian history. As literary sources is very important, just like archaeological sources is also very much important. As we found only books, then if we will not found any archaeological sources just like pots, just like building, then how will we come to know about the excavation? An excavation is of two types, horizontal and vertical. Okay, horizontal or and vertical. Vertical excavation is conducted with the aim of reveal stratification and are cut into deep deposits. And horizontal excavation emphasizes the horizontal dimension by opening up large area of a particular layer to reveal the spatial relationship between artifacts and features in that area. Okay, these are the differentiation between vertical and horizontal. Today, the archaeologists have at their disposal at a large number of dating methods through which they assign age to a particular artifact. If they found any artifact, then how will they connect with the present that object? Radiocarbon dating. Radiocarbon dating is the most popular and can date the most commonly occurring artifact in the deposits such as charcoal, wood, seeds, plant material, human and animal bone remains. Other absolute dating techniques are also used. For example, thermomimesis dating dates, pottery, burnt terracotta. Okay, these things are also known as in archaeological findings. Archaeological findings Also having coins. Coins have been found either in excavation as archaeological finds as forts. They are mostly found in forts, most of which have been discovered while digging a field or excavating the foundation for the construction of a building, making road, etc. The study of coins is also known as numismatics. This is considered as the second most important source for reconstructing the history of India. A coin is a metal currency and has a definite shape, size, and weight standard. It is also bear the stamp. It is also bear the stamp of issuing authority. The side of coin which carries the message is called obverse and the opposite side is reverse. The second urbanization in the early Indian history is first instance for which we find both the literary and archaeological evidence of coinage. Have you listened about Panchmark coin? The earliest coins in the subcontinent are the Panchmark coins. These are mostly of silver and sometimes of copper also. Some gold punch-marked coins are also reported, but they are very rare and their authenticity is doubtful. The punch-marked coins bear only symbols on them. Each symbol is punched separately, which sometimes overlaps one another. These have been found throughout the country. With the expansion of Magadhan Empire, the Magadhan type of punch mark coins replaced those which were issued by the other states. Next, Indo-Greek coins. Indo-Greek coins are also in silver and copper, and the gold ones are very rare. They show beautiful artistic feature on them, as you also have seen in NCRT books. The portrait or bust of the king on the observed side appears to be real portraits. On the reverse, some deity is depicted. It is through it is through the coins only that we know about more than 40 Indo-Greek rulers who ruled in small regions of northwestern India. We should know about Bhatia. The Kushanas issued their coins. Kushanas were the most important rulers to know about their gold and copper coins. The Kushanas issued their coins mostly in gold and copper, rarely in silver. Their coins are found in most part of North India up to present-day Bihar. The imperial Guptas issued mostly gold and silver coins, but the gold coins are more numerous. Indian influence can be seen on them from the very beginning. The coins of Bhima Kadkatsis bear the figure of Shiva standing beside a bull. These type of figures they punch on their punch mark on their coins. Kanishka, Puishka, Vasudeva, etc. all have this depiction on their coins. These we find many Indian gods and goddesses depicted on the Kushana's coins, besides many Persian and Greek deities. Next, inscriptions. You also have listen about the inscription, Ashoka inscription. So many type of inscription at that time. One of the most important and reliable sources for writing history are inscriptions. An inscription being a contemporary document is free from later interpolations. It comes in the form. It was composed in the engraved for the first time. It is almost impossible to add something to it at a later stage, as we generally found with the works written on soft material like birch bark, palm leaf, paper. They used to write on the leaves because they did not know about the paper at that time. So that's why they have written on palm leaves, birch bark, etc., which were frequently required to be copied because the old old manuscript became fragile with the course of time. At the time of copying, some errors did creep in, or sometimes even few additions were made. This is not possible with inscriptions. And what is epigraphy? Epigraphy. The study of inscription is called epigraphy. There were so many epigraphists to know about the inscriptions. They searched, they carved on seals, they copper plates, temple walls, wooden tablets, stone pillars, rock surfaces, bricks, or images. The scripts of inscriptions also helps a historian in many ways. The oldest inscriptions are in Harappan script of 2500 BCE, which is still undeciphered. Undeciphered means which we do not know about that script. The writing is carved on the Harappan seals, but so far no attempt has been successful at deciphering it. The earliest deciphered inscriptions are Ashokan edicts, which have been found on the rock surface, stone pillars, all through the subcontinent. These are found written in four scripts. In his empire in present day Afghanistan, he used Aramaic, Greek scripts for his edicts. After Ashoka, the Brahmi script was adopted by the rulers of succeeding countries. The most interesting thing about it is that its individual letters were modified century after century through this process. All the script of India, including Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam in South and Nagari, Gujarati, Bengali, elsewhere had developed from it. The credit to complete the chart of Ashokan alphabets goes to James Prince. After this, the study of epigraphs became a subject in itself. He was a civil servant in employ of East India Company in Bengal at that time. The Ashokan inscriptions are a class in itself, recorded in the different regional years of his reign. They are called edicts because they are in the form of king's order, king's desires. They also give a glimpse of his image and personality as a benevolent king, concerned with the welfare of not only his subjects but also of the entire humanity. The inscriptions are of various kinds. The Ashokan inscriptions were royal orders pertaining to social, religious, and administrative matters addressed to the officials or people in general. The Lumini pillar inscription of Ashoka is a commemorate inscription and as it records his visit to Buddha's birthplace. Then there are memorials like the Sati stones and hero stones, some of which carry inscriptions. The donative inscriptions, which record the erection of a temple, shrine, has been found in hundreds in the Deccan and South India in the early medieval period. The inscriptions which muralize their patrons begin with a precious key. The example are Hadi Gumfa inscription of Kharavela, 1st century BCE, CE, king of Kalinga, Indian names with two or three generations. These inscriptions show them being engaged in social and religious welfare activities. Do you know about the inscription of Samudra Gupta, Allahabad pillar inscription, also known as inscription of Samudra Gupta? These show the archaeological and artistic history and achievements of Indian history. Monuments, large caves like Ajanta, Ellora, excavated in the hills in western India, which constitute chaityas, viharas. Large temples have been carved out of rock, like Kailash Temple of Ellora and Rathas at Mamalapur. The monuments of medieval period show the grandeur and rich enjoyed by the ruling class. Also, they throw light on the regional styles of architecture, influences from different areas, etc. The archaeological excavations also brought to light two township of Takshila, Koshambi, Kashi, Ayodhya, Vaishali, Bodh Gaya, etc. belong to Buddha's time. All of these places except Tarchila are said to have are said to have visited by Buddha in 6th century BC. We have seen a lot of pictures, history of India from earliest time up to 300 CE. Kailash Temple, Ellora Caves, Aurangabad in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, and Rashmi Parab, the temple of Panchrathas, Mamallapuram, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Next, foreign accounts. We have seen about so many foreigners came to India, so many soldiers, ambassadors, settlers, traders, pilgrims. They visited India to know about the religions, to know about the religious things, to know about the Vedas. Okay, the Greek writer mentioned Sandrocles, who is said to have met Alexander as a young man. In the 18th century, William Jones identified Sandrocles as Chandragupta Maurya, which formed the basis of modern chronology. Ambassadors were sent to Patliputra by Greek kings. Some of them were Megasthenes, Damascus, and Dionysius. Okay, we are going to stop. We are going to end this class today and we will start this another. Thank you.